So this story that I'm going to tell you is about something called a desert quest, and my wife and I did this probably about 10 years ago, and through a friend of ours who runs something called Upaya in New Mexico. She's also a woman who ordained with me. Her name is Joan Halifax. She's an author, she's a PhD, runs a very, very successful center out there. One of the things that she does is this desert quest, in which she takes people out to the desert. You go through an orientation, you go through a training, all that stuff, and you go with 3 gallons of water. And when you get to the spot, there becomes like a staging area with the staff and people, and then they tell you what exactly you do. And so one evening you go out and you pick your spot, what you're going to do, where you're going to live for 3 days with these 3 gallons of water. Then you and your partner pick a spot where you're going to meet. Not really meet, but a spot where you're going to come in and drop something. So it's a safety issue. So if it was you and I, you go pick up a spot. And once you pick your spot, and I don't know where you are, you don't know where I am, we come together and say, okay, so let's figure out where we both would leave something. So you would say, in the morning I'm going to leave a stick or something. In the afternoon I'm going to leave, and that's a way of knowing that you're okay. So that if one day I go in and you haven't left anything, then that's a call, an emergency call. Anyway, so so I went to this quest, and one of the things that they tell you is, your 3 gallons of water, drink a lot of water, because it's very hot up there. Because one of the things that had to happen, you got to stay hydrated. Or else, if you start suffering from dehydration, particularly at night, because at night the damn thing drops, the temperature drops, I don't know, 20 degrees, very, very cold. So I went, and of course I listened to everything that they said, and I wanted to do everything they said, and when I got there the first day, I went for this long hike. And decided that I really didn't need that much water. You know, I'm a marathon runner. I don't really need to drink that much water. And so I conserved my water instead of doing what they told me to do. So I come back that night, and all of a sudden I start shivering. And I go, oh, it must be cold. So I put on my stuff, and I had probably John's, and I start shivering. And the shivering continues. I mean, you can't stop it. And I said, holy shit, this is what dehydration is. I did not drink enough water. So the whole night was terrible. I just couldn't sleep. You can't sleep. And by the way, you can't now then drink water. I drank all my water. It didn't help. Does it? Once you get dehydrated, it doesn't help. So anyway, in the morning I got up, I took my empties, I went down to camp. Everybody was sleeping because we knew where the extra water was, because they had told us. I put that thing down, I took 2 gallons of water, I had a pole, you know, and I don't know if I drank 3 or 2, but I walked, you know. So I'm walking back to my camp. I finally make it back to my camp, and I was dehydrated, I was weak, I had not slept all night, you know. And as I getting close to my tent, I hear this, and I go, oh shit, could that be a rattlesnake? And I start taking a step, and I go, man. And I said, don't move. So I go around, I turn around, and there's this sucker there with the tail up and the head up. And I look back, and so it's like over there. And I say, nah, it's too freaking far away. And as I tell the story is, I don't know what happened after that, because what happened was I went back to my tent, put the water down. What possessed me to do this is totally beyond me. I picked up this stick that I still have, which I'll bring in to show you guys. And I had taken a Puerto Rican rattle, you know, from a musical rattle, and I had taped it around the stick. For what reason? Don't ask me. But I pick up that, you know, it's a long stick, so it's a stick about like this, right? So I take it back, and the rattle is still there. So I go there, I go to rattle. And I do that like this. Finally, the rattlesnake puts his head down, crawls away, and crawls up to a clump of trees, and it crawls up. Well, when I went back, when you come back from a desert quest, what happens is they put you on a circle, and they spoon you with I forgot the name of the
Sage.
Sage. They sage you because they figure that you've picked up a lot of spirits, things like that. When I tell the story, people say, "What are you fucking stupid? You can't do that to a rattler." A rattler, when it strikes, I think it's 2.5 times or 3 times the size of its body when it extends to strike you. So if the rattler was there and I was doing like this, it could have reached me to get me. Second thing was that I told them it was a young rattler, and they said, "That's worse." I said, "Why?" So maybe it was just a baby. I said, "No, because the old rattler would come in and strike you and save some of the poison so he could hit you again and again. The young rattler will just empty itself out on you and you will die." So that's my rattle story.